Spoiler alert, we're unpacking the whole plot, twist by twist. If you're spoiler sensitive, hit pause and come back when your TBR list catches up. Cheers!
Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda.
And this is Marginally Unwell.
Getting there.
Today we are talking about First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. A fast-paced thriller about a woman living under a fake identity for a man she's never met. What begins as a simple assignment quickly spirals into a dangerous web of lies, secrets, and double crosses.
They've all been interesting in their, all kind of way. The books, they've been interestingly good, or they were interestingly not the way we expected it to be.
Maybe we just use the word interesting too much.
Yeah, no, it's a filler word for us. Interesting how things develop here. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so let's jump into it. Main character, Evie. What were your first impressions of her, and how did your opinion change by the end?
Whenever we first meet Evie, she's essentially in a relationship, a deep-seated relationship. Deep-seated, I don't know about that, but they're living together. That's how she's introduced, right?
I thought they were engaged.
Yeah, they're so then deep-seated works? Anyway.
Off to a great start.
So somewhere between living together
they're in a serious relationship.
Yeah, they're in a monogamous relationship. Thank you.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting because she was always because you get to get her inner monologue in this, and she was always kind of well, I'm not going to give out too much information. I'm just going to ask them more about them. And so she was always very conspiratorial. Bless you. Not very forthcoming. She was more like a sit back and see how things play out. I'm only going to give what is really necessary, So I thought that she kind of was very secretive, which is obviously the premise of the book. But towards the end, probably a bit more of the same. Not as bad, but
I will
she
say
did it on her own terms, I guess.
Yeah, I feel was pretty solid through the whole thing. Same for me. The only thing is I feel in the beginning, I thought that her motives were way different. Mm-hmm. I thought in the beginning she was after, before we had any info, mm-hmm. I thought that she was after revenge for something that had happened to her. Not that she was a con artist.
Yeah.
Helping her main boss run all these cons. I thought this was gonna be something happened to her whenever she was little, and now she's got this fake identity for revenge.
Yeah, that's what I went into it thinking. I thought it was a revenge story.
Yeah, which it was not. Well, it was, but not in the way that I
imagined.
But it was.
Yeah.
Because I thought that the guy that she was with, had some connection to whatever happened, or his family had a connection with his business or something. And so I thought that she was infiltrating for her revenge, not that she was just running another con.
Yeah.
So that impression of her changed, but she was pretty much the same as far as how much information she gave, and her inner monologue was pretty much the same throughout the whole deal. It just was different than I thought we were headed to.
Yeah. So I agree. Did your trust?
Nailed it.
Did you trust Ryan from the beginning, or were you waiting for the other shoe to drop?
No, because again, I thought that we were going somewhere else with this plot, and I thought that he was a bad guy some way, somehow. Especially because right in the beginning, there was this big to-do about her meeting his friends, and basically they were all so protective of him and stuff like that, and I was I don't trust it. I was I don't know. I thought it was weird, and then I thought that he, like I said, had something to do with whatever she was revenging against.
Honestly, I don't even know where we're going with this book. So my initial thoughts was okay, well, obviously she's scoping out the place. And then whenever Ryan is introduced, she talks about the relationship and how he's also secretive and only gives up like certain stuff. Like she doesn't really know where he goes on Thursdays. Like, but they trust each other and they love each other. Engaged or going to get engaged and they live together. But yeah, whatever dynamic that is.
I think that's why too. I thought that like he was part of the revenge story because
I don't think he was a part of the revenge story. I think he had probably something to do with it, but I don't think he was like a bad guy because he had these friends that were like loyal and
I think the friends might be more suspicious.
Yeah, okay, one friend.
Wow. I knew you were going to throw that in my face.
Because you don't just get like friends that are like a ride or die for you, and they have like a group of friends without being some.
But how do you get that?
A question later. What was that book? How to Make Friends from was it the Sheldon book? From Young Sheldon.
It's like a how to make friends and influence people or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they're like, and then mate, what's her name was the sister was like, well, why don't you just make friends with the people that checked out the book? And he's like,
Yeah.
the library. There you go. We're off topic.
Anyway.
So
you trusted him more.
I trusted him more. I just not necessarily trust, but I wasn't like immediately like you're a bad guy.
Red flag.
Okay, exactly. It was more like, okay, well, where is this going? Because he obviously is really invested in her because she's living at his house, like, you know, and leaves her there. It's just, they're both very secretive, but he gives her a level of trust. And he has like these connections with friends, and so I didn't think he had something to do with the main revenge plot, but I thought he had something to do with like getting there. Like she was using him as an in for the main thing. That's what I was thinking. And then she was going to betray him, and he's like, "Well, you were only using me." Mm-hmm. You know, I thought that's where it was going, but
I mean, didn't trust him
right off the bat. He has
too many friends.
We're like talking like 3.
It was more than that. Okay. How did the shifting timelines affect your reading experience? Did you find it engaging or confusing?
I thought it was fun. I thought it gave more context to, yeah. I thought it was needed.
I feel like that's what started explaining that we weren't actually in like a revenge story. Just for the one
she's on a case.
She's working a job. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have had books in the past where sometimes timeline stuff can be confusing and or can be annoying with like multiple timelines or multiple POVs, things like that. I don't feel like that was an issue here.
No.
I feel like it was well placed and, like you said, needed for her backstory to give more context to what's going on and why she was doing what she was doing.
I agree. At what point did you start to understand Mr. Smith's true nature?
I feel like as soon as the fake Luca Marino, he was trying to rattle her. Yeah. So basically what happened is she's having dinner with an old friend of Ryan's, and they went to the races or something.
Yeah, they're not even, because they're in Tennessee, I thought, or Louisiana. They're going to the horse races, and she made a comment of, we're not even in Kentucky.
Okay. So anyway, they're at the horse races. He runs into this old friend and his girlfriend, and she introduces herself as Luca Marino, which is her true identity.
With her exact story and everything.
Yeah, like where she grew up and like whatever. So, and that was very early on in the book. So I would say really early on, I was like,
he's holding something over her.
Yeah, I was like, he has got her locked in.
Yeah. I agree. He seems like more like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain kind of thing, manipulating things, putting pressure, and also being like that was such a passive aggressive move. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Which is crazy since she's like working a job that you want her to complete.
yeah, it's like you're lightly threatening her, but also like she was your
She's
best.
actively still working for you.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So,
and pretty early on, it is mentioned that she's one of his best agents,
yeah.
quote unquote, and she made one mistake. And she's like, I made one mistake out of how many, and I'm your best one, and you can't give me a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so your leg is hurt, so we're gonna shoot the pony kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I was.
Yeah. Do you think Evie ever truly had control over her own life, or was she always being manipulated?
I think she thought she had control over her life. I think that's what I was thinking until that happened. Until she, because in the book it doesn't necessarily, we don't go through the mishap that she went through on her last job with her. We just know of it, and then towards the middle-ish end time, we find out like what it was that she quote unquote messed up. But I think she thought she had control over her own life up until that point. And because we find out that she used to run like small time cons, like running credit cards, trying to get by. She lost her mom, trying to pay medical bills, her mother's medical bills, this and that. And then essentially was recruited to an independent spy.
It was giving like spy vibes, but they weren't.
They're like, go infiltrate and get this information and then leave.
Yeah.
And
because he was like trying to control, like manipulate other people, like political people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like it was essentially like a company.
It was like for his personal gain though, not like for like a country or something.
It was,
like
yeah,
that.
it was a like independent.
It's for his own path.
Yeah, like they would have clients that went to him and be like, "Hey, I need to take down this other corporation that we're competing against for this big blah blah blah, and we need to figure out. We need dirt to like, yeah, whatever." It was like that kind of thing. So she had her hands tied initially whenever she was recruited because she was caught and was going to get arrested, and she was very young. And at that time, she was recruited, and he's like, "You can either go to jail and see how that turns out, or you can come work for me and, have a job or whatever." And she's like, "Well, I'll have a job, I guess. I can make more money, this, that, and the other." So I think with her, and then after some time, like her thinking that she's clever and she's doing something that she's good at, and she was working towards saving money so she can get out of the game and like live her true life.
Yeah.
So I think she thought she had control of her own.
I agree, especially from the one point. I don't remember which job she had just done, but right after that, she basically walked into Mr. Smith's like assistant's office and was like, "I want to talk to him right now." And she was like, "We need to like bump it up. We all know like I'm the best you have, blah blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that moment she felt she had control, but she did not. That was like the most manipulative part.
Yeah.
Until the part with Amy Holder. And that was whenever she started plotting against Mr. Smith. Obviously we didn't find that out until
Remind me of Amy Holder. Which one?
She's the one that like died, but she didn't. And she's the one who ends up helping her. Like so once the Amy Holder situation happened, which is also where she allegedly like messed up too. And so during that was when I think she realized like the manipulation of Mr. Smith, and she started
would go.
Yeah, and she started plotting. Mm-hmm. So I think from that point she was in control, but I think she thought she was in control before that, and then that was like eye opening because obviously she was not. Because then she realized like he's actually going to try to take her down.
Yeah,
all this stuff.
Because you can't just leave with knowing all the things that we do.
Exactly.
Or have done.
Yeah.
How did Evie's relationship with Devin influence her choices in survival? I just gotta say, I really liked their dynamic. It gave like Kim Possible and the guy on the screen, Ron Stoppable, not Ron Stoppable, the guy behind the computer.
Wade. Yes.
Hey, Kimmy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I did like it because I feel like they became friends, obviously, and they were like a support for each other. And so I think it influenced her because I don't think without his help she would have felt like she could have like done it, because I
She
feel
had
like
a true ally with him.
exactly, she fully actually trusted him, and I don't think she would have been able to make the choices she made without having somebody who she felt she could actually like count on. And he obviously like proved that several times throughout things. But yeah, I think that he was a big influence on her, and probably part of a big influence for like wanting to get out too. Like, because before, after she had lost her mom, she was like basically alone. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, whenever you're just like the Lone Ranger, you don't really care about being involved in all this. But then once you actually have like
trivial
friends, or like actually have a longing for wanting a quote unquote normal life, you're trying to get out. So
trying to make connections. I 100% agree. I think he played a big influence on her, especially with her survival in that one particular job they did where it was a game that Mr. Smith pitted all of the
test.
The test.
Yeah.
They had to get a portrait or painting from this house, and he saw some of this home schematics and was like, hey, this doesn't make sense. You should go look here. And she ended up winning. And it was a very tight thing, and it was a lot of high stakes there. And so I think he really came through.
Yeah, well,
and it showed a lot of like influence he had for her.
And that was whenever, so we didn't again find this out till the end, whenever we were kind of going back through how everything went down. But that was whenever she realized, because he had said they found out that Mr. Smith had killed off like all the other con artists that he had in his pocket, other than her and one other person, which was Amy. And so they were like, basically like, why her? And like, also Devin basically saved her life by telling her where to go, because she won and was going to get killed off otherwise. So that was whenever she first reached out to Amy and was basically like, what do you know? They started plotting to get back at him, because it was like a couple years in the making between the three of them. Yeah. Did the con artist premise make it harder or easier to connect with Evie as a protagonist?
I thought it made it interesting. I haven't read a book with this type of premise before. I'm kind of muted there.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take, because it kind of took me through it, because like I said in the beginning, I thought initially we were talking about like a revenge story. I thought she was under a false identity for her own revenge, and then finding out that that wasn't true, and that she was like actually running these cons and everything. But in the beginning of that even is whenever it felt very like spy-like, and so it was a different take on like those kind of worlds, that kind of feeling that you would get from that, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't a spy novel, and it wasn't like just a revenge story. And, I don't think I've read nothing is coming to mind, at least, about like a con artist and those kind of
it didn't make it harder, and it didn't make it easier, because I was like, oh, this is different. It took me a little bit out of it, but it also didn't hinder the story. How did the imposter Luca raise the stakes of the story?
Well, that was where, I mean, again, that you first realize that Mr. Smith is like playing her, because she's like freaking out. I guess that was like, even though it was so early on, it was like one of the most pivotal points, because
I thought it was interesting, because not only did he use her true name, and he could have figured that out. I mean, it is like a information gathering business. But he also knew literally all the tiny details of her life before, like leading up to this moment. He got every single detail of her life leading up to the meeting. So, I mean, it would make sense for him to like know her name, what she was doing, why, but like where she went to school, what she was doing, her mother's illness, her, doing all these like weird, not weird, but like random little tiny details that are not readily available in like documentation like he knew about and she was using.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, that it was a big turning point, obviously. She's realizing that he's trying to send her a message, obviously.
Passive aggressively.
Yeah. And also then I feel like it's making her question everything. Because then she's like, why is he doing this now? All the things. So she's like questioning what she's going through. I think it raises the stakes quite a bit. Or at least that's where the like story starts to take a turn. Okay. What role did trust play throughout the novel, and who do you think deserved it the least?
The least amount of trust? It's great.
I mean, probably Mr. Smith.
Yeah, like, the obvious answer?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole book is about who do you trust, how much do you say, how much can you get out of the other person? Like, that's the whole...
Yeah. How can you get more out of them than you give to them?
Yeah.
And then, like, who can you actually trust? And I think that is why what we talked about with Devin, that's why he was so pivotal, because
he was the only one she could trust.
Yeah.
Truly trust.
Yeah.
Did you feel sympathy for Mr. Smith at any point? Or was he purely a villain to you?
I feel like just a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of feel like he was taking advantage of people who were in a tough spot. Like, obviously, he knew that Evie Luca she's on her own. She's trying to, like, figure stuff out. That's why she was, like, running the credit card cons and everything. And so he used that and then, like, I can be there to, like, support you and, like, whatever. You don't have to do it alone, basically.
Yeah.
And then he puts them in these situations where, like, you can't get out. So I never felt any sympathy for him because he obviously knew exactly what he was doing and was doing it to a lot of people and only for his own gain. And as soon as you stopped being valuable to him, like, you were done. So, 0 sympathy.
100% agree.
Who has sympathy for him? If you've read this and you did, let us know because I want to know how.
Tell me your side so I can tell you you're wrong.
Argue with me, please. How did Evie's past cons shape the way she handled her final situation?
Interesting question. How did past cons... I think, like, through her past cons, like, you can see how Mr. Smith likes to send messaging and what he's more inclined to do as jobs. Also think with some of the outcomes of those jobs, obviously, especially with that painting one, after everyone but one person was taken out, it did shape the final decision because it's like a kind of type. It's a you or me type of thing. I can't really think of anything in particular other than that. How he is.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple that I can think of that I feel like how she handled that related to the final situation because I really feel like she thought that there were a couple moments with the, like, whoever the political guy was, and then the family where she, like, bonded with the little boy and everything. She didn't want to hurt people that she felt were genuinely good. So I feel like she still held on to that. And so I feel like that shaped how she handled it because she was like, I don't need to, like, do that. And he's obviously a really bad guy. And so, like, this is the right choice. But then also, it ultimately, how she handled those situations shaped how the final one worked out because she, like, called on the favor from the political guy because she basically was like, here's what's going down. Yeah. She, like, told him, basically. And she knew he was a good guy and didn't deserve, like, what was going to happen to him. And so then she had that favor to call in. And then also, I feel like, with the little boy, that's what made her that longing for, like, having a normal life, like, resurface. And so, again, I feel like that shaped, like, kicking that into gear of, like, wanting to get out. And how do they get out? They have to, like, basically take him down.
Because he wasn't going to let them
just go.
Yeah.
So those are the ones I felt like I shaped where the plot went with that. Do you think Ryan truly loved Evie, or was their relationship built too much on lies?
I think he really loved her. I think he loved her and gave her as much as he could without endangering her himself or her. Because towards the end, whenever they're in the car, he's like, he told her everything.
Yeah.
And then she was like shocked by that, and it's like, okay, well, he really is committing to me because this is really important to him, and this is like,
yeah,
holding these onto these things is really important to each other, and so he really like put himself out there, and I think she really got that message, and I think she's the not necessarily the perfect person, but the ideal person to understand what that truly meant to him, not by just saying I love you, but like actually going out on this limb. And I think she truly loved him because she was like, I can tell you everything like on Friday after everything goes down.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think they really liked each
I
other.
feel like a lot of the lies and secrecy in the beginning was just like, I mean, obviously hers was like a profession thing, but like it was a lot of just guardedness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just a matter of like being able to put those down instead of, not that like he didn't actually love her, not that that part was fake. It was just like he couldn't fully let her in.
Yeah. How did this setting and social circle around Ryan contribute to the tension of the story?
Well, obviously, we don't know my feelings. I'm his friend. What's crazy? The situation with his friend Rachel, who was the lawyer, that contributed to it a lot because then Evie was using her as an attorney because Mr. Smith was trying to like take her down with like legal stuff going on, and so they were like looking into suspected murder that she could have been involved in. Rachel had like red flags about Evie because Ryan is her friend, but then it was like it created this tension because then it was her lawyer, so then she couldn't tell Ryan anything. Evie's like, I need you to just trust me, even though she's the lawyer, and she's like trying to give advice. So it was really like this awkward, like weird power dynamic.
Yeah.
Going between those three especially, and then the other big one for me was his friend that was dating the fake Luca, because obviously whenever that was brought in, then that was how she found out, and then they both ended up dying in a car accident, quote unquote. So then that created tension because it was like, what is going on here? Because like, there's no way that that was just a coincidence. Kind of thing.
It put tension on Ryan because they had tumultuous. Where did that word come from? It just
they had a rocky past.
They had a rocky past. The dictionary.
You think she is?
I think I am using $50 words. The relationship, because gambling Ryan would always bail him out with his gambling debts and stuff, and they didn't end up leaving on good terms. And then also for like their friend group too, it's also really awkward. But in addition to that, Luca, like Evie confronted Luca, just like, did you get what you were looking for from Mr. Smith? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that's a lot of me. Okay, when are you did you already give it to him, or are you gonna do it later?
Yeah.
And so she's like calling him out through her, which I think was interesting dynamic there.
Yeah.
Straight power move during a dinner party.
Crazy.
What was the question?
How did his social circle contribute to the tension of the story?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
That was what I had to say. Was there a moment where you thought Evie might not get out of the situation?
Not necessarily. I'm trying to think of whenever she was like, they were going to, what were they going to?
When they,
like towards the end, after like all these charges were, and she was like talking to Rachel, and she's like, I have to go somewhere by myself. And she's like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then she told Ryan, and Ryan's like, okay, I trust you.
Yeah.
And then she met up with what's his name, and then they found out that Mr. Smith was actually the delivery guy.
Yeah, it was wherever the death. What?
Okay, you go ahead.
Wherever the death of Amy was at, I don't remember what city. It was like in another state. So it was like wherever that death had happened, because that was like a different identity of hers and all that, because that's what he was trying to frame her for, like her murder. And they flew back there for like that jurisdiction. So like go talk to the detectives.
Yeah.
But that was where like the bank was.
Yeah.
That
it was that lockbox, and they
Yeah.
were trying to find that information that she was supposedly withholding.
Yeah, because what happened was Mr. Smith thought that after Amy died, that Evie had taken the information that she found, that she actually found more information than she told him, and was like hiding it. Because the reason he wanted her dead was because she had information on him. And so he was thinking Evie then found that and was withholding it, even though she was like, I never found anything else. Like, it was all, she must have destroyed it all, whatever. And so they had the safety deposit box that they were going to check out. Yes. Yeah. What did you say?
I said the mailroom, like, because I was thinking a P.O. box.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
safety deposit box makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't think there was a point where I really thought that she wasn't going to get out of it. I didn't think everybody was still going to be alive in the end.
Me either. I thought someone was going to be gone.
Yeah, but I thought that she would get out of the situation.
Well, I guess 2 people did die, so. The friend did, not Luca.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, in the end, I thought, like, Devin or Mr. Smith or
Rachel.
Yeah, like somebody, or Ryan. Like one of the bigger players, I thought were gonna be dead by at the casualty of the situation.
How did the theme of identity How did the theme of identity, real versus constructed, play out across the story?
I think that because she had all these identities, she always felt like she needed to like one day go back to being Luca, and I think she felt like none of these people that I've been acting like are real, and like one day I'll be able to like go back and be myself. But then I feel like by the end she realized like no, that is actually who I am, and Luca is just a name, and like I don't actually need to go back. But so I think she thought that she was constructing like separate identities, but then realized it was like
all her.
Yeah, that is who she is.
Yeah. Because how are you going to fall in love as a character with another person?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was really a big point too. Like she essentially had to give up on being Luca in order to get out of the legal situation and everything like that too. Yeah. So, it kind of like forced her into that reality. Did the ending feel satisfying and believable to you? Why or why not?
I found it satisfying. The ending is she ended up taking up Mr. Smith's mantle. So I thought it was like a full circle moment for her. So I think it would be interesting to see long-term effects of that power that she's gonna inherit or, vest into.
Yeah.
But I mean, she has people that are willing to work for her because of her character and her morals and her attitude and stuff. So maybe she'll lean more into that kind of thing. Like, hey, we can run cons but to an extent.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I thought it was a full circle moment.
Yeah, I thought it was satisfying at the end. I feel like they explained everything, like everything that was explained, like how it all went down and like the planning that had been going on for like 2 years. I feel like made sense to me.
Yeah,
believable. I don't know how like I've never been involved with like con artists, but like I feel like it made sense. Exactly, I don't know. For sure, and I agree with you. I think it would be interesting to see how she kind of takes over that business, quote unquote, being that she has Amy and Devin now, like in her corner. And as I said earlier, we saw, throughout the story that she did still have some sort of moral compass with like certain people who she was like, they don't deserve this,
Yeah,
like they're crappy people, and I don't care about doing that to them, but like,
yeah,
not them.
She finds a a solution
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. If you were in Evie's position, would you have made the same final choices?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I would have wanted to like take over things. I feel like I would have wanted to just get out, but I don't know. I feel like how everything went down, I would hope that I was smart enough to like take him down.
You are me, buddy boy.
Yeah, but because I don't really necessarily feel like anything she did was. There's nothing I can think of and be like, oh, I would have done it this way or whatever. The only thing I could say is I don't know that I would have wanted to stay, especially since she played a lot into like wanting to go back and be Luca. I felt like she really wanted to have more of a normal life, and now she like still has the secret identity, basically.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. How long was she? Was she like 10 years?
It was a while. I don't remember.
She got arrested like early 20s, late teens, like very young. Because she had just gotten out of high school. Like I think she also dropped out.
Yeah, I don't remember how long. It was a good while. I'd say 10 plus years.
Yeah,
I don't quote us on that.
I don't know. I'd probably run it for a little bit, and then I'd be an investor. Like, if it were to be, I probably, because if you don't, somebody else will.
I mean, that's true.
So if you have the opportunity to do it, and it's something that, I mean, obviously she liked running them, I think, too. I think it was also like adrenaline rush or fun to her, something. Because otherwise, like, why are you doing it? Because you get a lot of money off of a couple of jobs that you could have just done one or two and then tried to leave. So why did you do it for like 10 plus years? Like, how much money do you really need to save?
Well, I thought she was just saying this because of like, how do you get out from that, basically?
She in the beginning she was wanting to get out, but then towards the end the thing with Amy was not 10 years in, but like the 5 to 8 years in. So she was already doing these cons for 5 to 8 years, and she gets a substantial amount of money after each thing.
Right, but like, how would she have gotten out? Like, even though because she thought she was in control, right? So she was being like, I'm saving to be able to go and be Luca again. But then ultimately she realized there's no like getting out, and I'm gonna like it's either die or take him down or stay in it forever.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if she wanted to get out, she could have before then. And like, how could she have gotten out whenever she didn't know that she was gonna get like axed out? Like, she could have just been like, okay, well, thanks, I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna just take a retail job and then have my money and savings and live off of whatever below my means. Like, if she really wanted to, she could have like tried to do that and then found out the hard way that she couldn't. But she stayed in it. So I think she liked it. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, and then going into like, if she doesn't, somebody else will, because if there's an opportunity, someone's going to take it.
Yeah.
So maybe she can build it out, like what she thinks would be best, and then have more checks and balances on it. And like her and then Devin and Amy could be like the board, and then have somebody, be a manager for the artists.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would think about it. Or she wants to just be
My nerves.
Yeah, the last one is yours.
Would you read another book featuring Evie or set in the same world?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Just because I would be interested to see what she does since she decided to stay in. I don't know that. I don't know if it would be like a top thing for me, like seeking out. But I maybe would, depending on the premise of like what they were doing with the next book, if they were going to follow what she does. Maybe somebody trying to take her down, or maybe he comes back to try to. Yeah, I'd be open to it. I don't want to say I for sure would.
Yeah. It'd be a no for me, dog. Would you recommend this book to others?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting like mystery situation. I liked, like I said, that really the con artist aspect of it was kind of different.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to say that because I also don't find this book like super memorable
Yeah.
for some reason, but I did like reading it enough that I would recommend it, especially if you're just like looking for something different, like within that genre.
Yeah. Like a mystery
Yeah.
thriller kind of thing. I don't know if I'd recommend this book. Yeah, it just wasn't memorable for me.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's making me hesitant because it wasn't super memorable.
The problem is like if someone were to like 2 months from now and be like, "What book would you recommend in this type of genre?" I would not remember what happened in this book. So probably, realistically,
Writing style. I thought the writing was good.
I thought the writing was good as well. I agree.
But even with the like timeline stuff and everything, felt good to me.
I thought they did the timelines well. I thought they coincided really well. I thought that the flashbacks gave exactly what you needed for the present moment.
Yeah.
Didn't overly stuff you with extra stuff from the past. Yeah. Sometimes that's difficult. To follow.
To make sure you're giving enough information without like too much like unneeded stuff, unnecessary. So
yeah. Story engagement. What do you think?
I was pretty engaged the whole time. Again, it's weird to say that I didn't find it super memorable, but I mean things started happening pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it was kind of just right into her with Ryan, and even though I thought that it was like the revenge thing, it was not long into it before they run into the fake Luca and everything, and like things are moving quick. I feel like I was able to stay engaged like the whole time, and I think the balance of giving enough information at the right time kept it engaging. Overly unnecessary.
I thought the engagement was good too. There's always something going on, or even if they were sitting down for dinner, like there was some like underlying tension that was like, what's gonna happen? You know?
Yeah.
Like it was interesting to see how things played out. So,
yeah.
I agree. Overall ratings.
I gave it a 3. Again, I do feel like it was a good book. I'm struggling with it not just being like super. Honestly, like 2 days later, I was like,
what happened?
As soon as I started like kind of recapping it, it immediately came back.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like something I was thinking about for days and days after. I think it was written well, and I do think it was an interesting take on mystery. Like I said, with the artist,
I think it was a really good palette cleanser, like a true like nice transition from like one heavy series to another, or something that like a background show or something.
Yeah. So I gave it a 3.
Nice. Yeah. I gave it a 2.75. I almost gave it a 3, but I don't like the premise of like because it was giving like heavy miscommunication. Because they just couldn't like, oh, I'm trying to work something out, but I want you to help, but I like want to be with you. Not a big fan of that. I trust you, but I can't give you this information. That's not like my thing. So
I don't know. I guess for their relationship, I didn't hold too much stock in that part of the story. So maybe that's why I didn't like.
Not just, so I mean like miscommunication, not just with like their relationship. Like that, I think they were good in their relationship, and they both understood like their standpoints of like what they were doing, and that was fine. What I mean by that is like, who can I trust to give this information? Who can I not trust on this? And that's what I mean. It's like they're trying to get through this big kind of get out of under the thumb of Mr. Smith, but they can't necessarily lay everything out on the table and like come up with a solid plan. Like they come up with a part of it, and then they scheme with some person, and they kind of scheme with another person. That just wasn't interest.
I didn't feel like that was like that at all. I feel like we just didn't get that because we didn't know what was happening with her and Amy in the background for the last 2 years. Because I feel like she went to her and she was fully open and was like, here's what it is. I think we need to fucking get out. And then they were creating the plan. But we didn't see that until they, like, revealed that at the end that was happening.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I think her and Amy, and I think her doing that with Amy was a Hail Mary because she went through all of these other people before she got.
I don't feel like she went through anybody else. I don't think she tried to really. I don't feel like she truly was trying to.
She was literally, like, Amy was literally her only option because all the other people that they had identified was already dead. So she's like, this was the last person that is there, and this is the last person that can help me, and potentially we can get out together and we're like, share this very specific instance or situation. So I think her laying it all out there was a Hail Mary to get Mr. Smith.
Right.
Because at that time, they only had Devin. She only had Devin.
Right, but I don't feel like she ever tried with anybody else. Because I think that point where she realized that Amy was the only one alive was where she was like, I have to get out.
Tried with anybody else, like, what do you mean? Who would you anybody else?
Because you were saying the miscommunication, like she was trying with all these other people before Amy, and so Amy was like the last ditch thing. But I don't know who she tried with before them.
Okay, so with Rachel, with Ryan, with the kid, the football player guy, the politician, not get out with them, but like, hey, I'm gonna call you for this favor, but I'm not gonna like tell you like why, but you just need to do it. Like, it was like no context. It was just like, hey, do me this one solid. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know. I feel like because she helped them, that's how she had the thing. And Amy was going on during all of that. Amy was already like in the. I don't know. I didn't feel that way. I felt like it all unraveled and made sense to me in the end, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's First Line Wins.
First Line Wins. That's it for today's episode. Next week is theme week, and we're going a little mad as a March hare with wildly absurd and beloved sci-fi classic, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Grab your towel, don't panic, and join us for a cosmic adventure through the weirdest journeys in the universe.